Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing my weekly wrap-up for the last week. Everything that I got finished or I'm still working on, back to a full-length one after the last really quick one while I was on vacation, kind of talking through. It's overall been pretty good. There's some things I've made really good progress on, others I've made a little bit less progress on, just depending on where I was at and everything, and I got slowed down from vacation. But let's jump in and talk, and we'll start with the physical. So the big news is I have finished Part 1 of Submarrior. This, I mentioned before, it was split out into two books, which is Submarrior and the Warhost Fastmark, and all the other editions. So I've now finished the first one, which actually leaves me a little bit over half of this. So I've got under 400 pages for Part 2, but I've been kind of taking my time with this, but I really was excited to do it. The end of Part 1 is fantastic, and I really can't wait to get into Part 2 here. However, I planned, since I was kind of taking my time on once I finish this, focusing on knocking out the other things that I've been reading. So that's probably what I will do, is get some other things knocked out, because I have other books that I'm planning to get to hopefully very shortly after these, and so that's kind of where I'm going from there. So what are those other things that I'm working on currently? Well, on the physical side, we have the Voidwalker Collection by Derek Bailey, and this is, I've talked about in a couple of wrap-ups already. There's 8 novellas that are sequential, telling this story, and I've now finished the up through the second one. So I'm about a quarter of the way through. I have the other 6 to go, and this has been pretty interesting. The second novella, the first one was kind of just like really setting up the premise and having a lot of things that you're like, oh, what's going on here? The second one bumped up in a big way with a lot going on. Still a ton of questions that I'm sure will slowly start to resolve throughout, but really kind of bumped up and showed where this is going to be going, and so I'll be really interested to continue this as well. Then on the old Kindle, I am still working on the Seventh Cadence by Jim Wilborn, and this one I am just under, I think, 30% on this one, so almost a third of the way through, and I've really been enjoying this so far as well. It's set up some really interesting ideas, and I feel like because of the fact it is a longer book. I think it's over 700 pages, I believe, and so just under a third. Like, I still have a lot to go in this book, so there's been a lot set up, but I just got to some pretty important parts, I would say, where some big events happen, so I'm really excited to continue this one as well. This is one I have meant to get to for a really long time. I've had this ebook for a long time, and so I really needed to finally get to it, and I'm glad that I finally am. Has been quite enjoyable. And so then on the audio front, I did actually finish Shadows of Self on audio while I was on vacation. I had very little left, and I had very little time to listen to audio while I was on vacation, but I ended up finishing that one up, and this continued from Alloy of Law, me enjoying it a bit more than I actually remembered. This one also got 4 stars from me, which I also rated Alloy of Law, and I remembered them both as being below 4 at least, probably above 3, but kind of in that more mid-range, and so I found myself quite enjoying this one. I'll do a video, Shadows of Self, too, just because with the new one coming out, it's a good time to do a review so that I have something to remind myself as well in the future as well, which I like to do with those books that are part of the Cosmere in general, have a good reminder for me. So I'll have a video coming out for that as well. I'll also be doing videos, I mean, for everything I mentioned here, I think, too. So lots more coming there, but did get that one finished up. And then I decided to start, since it's October, I'm like, maybe I'll do a horror book. And so I started on audio Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman, because it was my understanding that he used to write horror before he wrote The Black Tongue Thief, and I really liked The Black Tongue Thief, and so I was interested to try his other stuff, and so I figured I would do this one. I don't have a physical copy yet, but I was able to get, I think it might have been included on Audible, because I don't remember spending a credit on this, but I've had it on my Audible library for a while, so it might be included. Really good delivery there. Steve West was the narrator, which I hadn't heard before, but he did a really great job with it. This is definitely one of those books, though. For one, I loved it. It was not at all what I expected, and instead of being like I said, I was thinking more typical horror. This is like historical fiction with horror elements and probably technically some fantasy elements as well. So it really is kind of a bend of a few different genres, and just keeps you not knowing what is going to happen. Was really brilliant the way it was done. I enjoy the audio. It's definitely one I'm going to want to get a physical copy of, because I definitely would like to reread, and I just feel like this would be another one where just sitting and reading it physically I would enjoy. It kind of depends, because there's some books like that where like the audio was really good, so I feel like the audio was a great experience. I enjoyed it, but I'm just such a sucker for physical media, so this is one I just kind of like I would have liked to just have sat and read it too, and I don't know, so I'll definitely be getting a copy of it, and we'll definitely be doing a review of that one too, because oh boy, is there a lot to say about that book. That it really just surprised me. I did not know to expect any of that. So that's kind of where we are with that. And then so I'm going to be, I haven't actually started it yet because I only just recently finished Between Two Fires, but going to be finally starting the audio for Path of Daggers, which is book 8 in the Wheel of Time. And so I'm excited to continue as well too. Been doing my reread on audio in order to just allow me to continue reading other physical books, because these are kind of longer, and I get through the Wheel of Time books pretty quick, but I've been enjoying the audio. I had never done it before, and after so many times reading the series, it's kind of nice to try out a different format, since I do more audio now, and I've done a lot more audio the last couple months than I ever thought I would, which is just kind of nice because helps to keep things going with different formats, and times when I can't physically read, I can sometimes do the audio, and so it's been nice. But yeah, we'll be continuing that as well, and of course doing my normal Wheel of Time video for that also once I finish that up. So that's kind of everything that I've been working on for the last week. So nothing technically finished, although I'm counting Submarrior Part 1 as a finished book, because I was treating it as 2 books because it's separated, and it's Submarrior and Warhost of Vastmark. And I can't remember which one comes first in the split editions, but I think it goes Warhost of Vastmark. Yeah, it might be the other way around. I don't know. Anyway, but so I'm counting that as kind of finished. Made more progress on the audio, and then yeah, I'm going to be focusing more so on my 2 review copies for Voidwalker Collection and the Seventh Cadence. The Seventh Cadence, which is an honorary review copy, because I had a copy for a long time before the author reached out, but it was just a good push to get it. I still will be planning also on trying to get to quite soon The Curse of Chalian by Lois by Master Bugel, because that won the next NBR read, and I probably should have gotten that for a while, but I've had so many buddy reads and review copies that I actually had not picked a new NBR book for a while, so that's why I still hadn't actually gotten to it, but planning to get to that as well, and some other stuff too. Also planning on starting, so I'll talk more about when I get there. But yeah, I'm going to focus now on these other 2 and get through there, and hopefully get through those nice and quick, and keep going, because I definitely want to finish the part 2 of Submarrior very soon. I have a feeling when I get back to it, I'm going to be so eager that I'll read through it quickly. That's kind of what happened with 2 Green Angel Towers, another really big one, where I took a break after the first part, even though I was having a great time, just because it's huge, and then by the time I got back to part 2, I'm like, okay, I gotta finish this now. I'm so excited. So hopefully that'll help too, and help me get through the part 2 of that even quicker. But that is it for this video this week. As always, let me know in the comments what you read in the last week, kind of what your updates or things that you're planning on as well. Always interested to see what everybody else is reading. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Duo Discord. If you want to chat books, whether any of these books, other books, any books, really anything at all, it is a lot of fun, and we would love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.